What's up, guys? I hope you're well. Today we are checking out how deep does English football's pyramid go. Let's get into it, shall we?
English football is defined by its pyramid, the system of promotion, relegation and interconnected leagues. It's intended to represent mobility, the hope that through promotion and relegation, every club from any part of the country could reach the top or fall to the bottom. But despite the pyramid being familiar, few know how it really works, or how deep it actually goes.
How deep is your love? How deep is your love?
So first, what does the pyramid actually look like? Well, at the top, it's simple. The Premier League is the highest level of professional football. Beneath that, the three divisions which collectively comprise the English Football League, the Championship, League One and League Two. Those four divisions contain 92 clubs at any one time. Then, beneath that, outside of the league system, the level of football is identified by steps. Step 1 is the highest, and that is the National League, from which Wrexham won promotion in 2023.
Now they're
that in turn is
championship.
fed by Step 2, which is the National League North and South, two divisions of equal standing, with teams divided by geographical location. Gloucester City are the National League North's longest tenants. They play at Meadow Park, which holds 4,000 fans. The record attendance for the National League South was 5,351 fans who watched Torquay United versus Hungerford Town in 2019.
Wow.
And below that, things become more regionalised and more complicated. At Step 3, there are 4 separate divisions, each of which promote teams into the level above, and all of which have associated divisions below. Confusingly, a team's passage is not always linear. So, just as a club from that level would have its destination informed by its geography, ending up in the National League North or South, so a side suffering relegation would drop into a division specified on the same basis. There is the Northern Premier League Premier Division, the Southern League Premier Division Central, the Southern League Premier Division South, and the Isthmian League Premier League Division. Together, they contain the 88 teams at Step 3.
Wow.
Step 4 works on the same basis, but with more divisions, and so does Step 5. But there are quirks, and to explain them, here's an example. Consider a team playing in the Midland League Premier Division at Step 5, the 9th level of the pyramid. A team winning promotion from that league would go into either the Northern Premier League Division 1 West or the Northern Premier League Division 1 Midlands, depending on which part of the country they're from, and which other teams have also won promotion. Similarly, teams relegated from the same league might fall into any one of 5 divisions below, with the destination determined by their locality, but also the need to keep the right number of teams in the right places. There are 319 teams currently playing at that level.
Oh my gosh.
Step 6 has 17 divisions and 339 clubs, and is regionalised even further, but it works on the same basic principle, with the same premise of mobility. For example, the Hellenic League Divisions 1 promotes into the Hellenic League Premier Division above, which is part of the Southern League system. The level below that is technically the base of the pyramid. It's the 11th highest level of English football and home to 787 different clubs, all competing for spots in the divisions above. For instance, Route 1 Rovers from Bradford won the Yorkshire Amateur League Supreme Division in 2023 and were promoted to the North West Counties League Division North. Should they win another promotion, they'll find themselves in the North West Counties League Premier Division, and should they keep winning, they'll keep on moving upwards towards glory. However, staying with our example, whilst the Yorkshire Amateur League Supreme Division is at level 11, the lowest point of the recognised pyramid, the Yorkshire Amateur League itself has 8 different divisions, which stretch all the way down to the 18th level of English football. The Yorkshire Amateur League Division 5 mainly comprises of reserve teams for the sides above, who are also prohibited from playing in the same division. But standalone sides, such as West End Park, who play their games on King George V playing fields in Liversedge, well, their route up to the Supreme League and beyond is laid out for them. You see, mobility is an important part of the football pyramid. Most famously, Luton Town have recently become the first team in the Premier League era to make it all the way from the National League in 2014 to the Premier League itself. And quite a few clubs have also travelled the entire length of the Football League. In 1995-96, Fulham were playing in what is now League 2. In 1998, Manchester City were in League 1. Brighton and Swansea have also made the journey from League 2 to the Premier League, playing in all 4 divisions, and Wigan have done it too. So have Bradford City. But there are plenty of other stories. When AFC Wimbledon were formed in response to the original Wimbledon club's relocation to Milton Keynes, the new club started life in the combined Counties League Premier Division. That was in 2002. After 6 promotions in 14 years, by 2016, they'd climbed into the Football League system and as high as League One. Coincidentally, it was the same path the first club had followed. Between 1964 and 1986, Wimbledon FC managed to climb all the way from level 7 and the Isthmian Premier League to the top of English football. They even won the FA Cup in 1988 and stayed in Division 1, latterly the Premier League until 2000. Hashtag United don't have the same backstory, but they are another quick mover. They began life in the Eastern Counties League Division 1 South and 3 promotions later are now playing in the Isthmian League Premier Division. Now, of course, movement can happen in the other direction too. Oldham Athletic were a founding member of the Premier League and played 2 seasons in the division from 1992 to 1994. In 2022, though, following 3 largely miserable decades, they became the first former Premier League team to fall out of the Football League when they were relegated to the National League, step 1, the 5th level of English football. A mile away from the Premier League, yes, but still nowhere near the deepest regions of the system itself. Imagine that you could learn everything that you need to know about football news in 10 minutes without having to read anything. Well, that's why we made the Daily Football Briefing Show. It's a new 10-minute podcast that catches you up on...
All right, so, wow, that goes deeper than I thought it did, and that's so much more complicated than I ever imagined it being. Holy smokes, there are like so many teams in England. That's just I wasn't even counting, but I don't know. I want to say in all of England, probably maybe nearly 2,000 teams. Jeez Louise. We really only have 3 leagues here. 3 leagues here in the U.S. We have the MLS, we have the USL, and the USL 2. I think starting next year, USL and USL 2 are going to start doing the changing, the lower to upper. My God, my brain broke for a second. The relegations for the 2 worst teams in the USL and the 2 top teams, I think the 2 top teams in the USL 2 will move up, kind of like how they do it in England. My thing is, why won't the MLS get involved? Is it too much money? Well, when the same teams are garbage year after year after year, and then you see these teams in the USL that are like amazing year after year after year, I kind of like to see those USL teams have an opportunity of being promoted to MLS. Yes, I know MLS stadiums hold, I don't know, 15 to 20,000, and USL stadiums are like, I don't know, 9 to like 13,000. USL 2 is like 4 to like 8, but still, who cares? Look at, like, he brought up what's her names that made it all the way up, and they've literally, to get into the stadium, you have to walk through people's backyards. That was an amazing story. I'd love to see stuff like that, something like that done in the U.S. to kind of get, different leagues being able to move up, move down. I doubt that's going to fully happen, but I'm glad USL and USL 2 are going to experiment with it next year. My hope is my team better get their crap together, because right now they're the 2nd worst team in the USL, and I can't imagine them getting dumped down to USL 2, because the owners are going to go, well, then there's no point. Well, there is a point. Get your butts back up to the USL. Like, you guys won a championship in 2020, and now you're looking at relegation. It's like, hello. You figure this out, boys, but that's what makes it more exciting. Playing in a league, you could be the worst team in a league. Like in MLS, you could be, I don't know who's bad in MLS. I can't think of a team who's bad. Let's say Chicago Fire. Year after year after year, they're dog shit. They're awful. But there's no penalty. There's no motivation to improve, because there's no relegation or promotion in the 3 main leagues in the US. We need to do it, because I think that would be absolutely, absolutely amazing. Let me know in the comments what you think. You think that would actually work in the States, or do you think the U.S. is just too money grabbing for it to even work? With that being said, I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.